Tēnā koutou anō, everybody. It's Michael here, but that's not important because Ramil will be calling in soon to do his program Te Wā Whanau, a program about gambling harm. And Ramil has been doing this remotely from his home for 3 or 4 weeks now, or even longer than that. And he brings in guests who also call in remotely via our special video link. Fairly soon, when we go to level 2, then people will be able to come back into the station, and that'll be a great feeling. It's wonderful that we've got the technology for people to connect from their homes, but we rather like having them here. Veronica's back now, so that's good. She's brought her bubble and we've extended that, and the place has got hand sanitizer all over the joint, and we're looking at what kind of measures we need to put in place to make sure that this is a safe place for all of our program makers to come and present their programs once again. So we won't know until Monday when the Prime Minister tells us when level 2 will be instigated, but we look forward to that. And I can see that Ramil's with us now. Good morning, Ramil.
Good morning, Michael. How are you today?
Yes, I'm still pretty well, thanks, and I presume you are too.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much, Michael. And yes, you are doing a fantastic job during this lockdown. Really appreciate it.
That's good. I'll leave you to it, Ramil. You'll have your guest calling in pretty soon, and off you go with your program.
Thank you, Michael. Kia ora, talofa, good morning, ni hao, and namaste. It's 10:30 a.m. and you are with Ramil for a program called Te Wā Whanau, Time for Family. It consists of musical fun with gambling harm awareness information for half an hour. But during this lockdown time, we are trying to bring different experts in our program for our audience. Here we go, Te Wā Whanau with Ramil. I'm a public health worker for Salvation Army Oasis. If you have any gambling problem, please do not hesitate to contact us. I can ensure your privacy will be protected. And you can contact us through 0800 530 000, 0800 530 000, or you can contact us through our Facebook page as well as the email. So today we have a guest, Dr. Prudence Stone, CEO of Public Health Association of New Zealand. So let's welcome her. Welcome, Prudence.
Kia ora.
Can you?
Kia ora, talofa, malo elele.
Thank you, Kia ora, Prudence, and thank you so much for your time today. It's really appreciated.
Oh, and well, thank you very much for having me here.
Yes, Prudence, see, it's Prudence, Dr. Prudence Stone from Public Health Association of New Zealand, and I know her personally very well, but for our audience, it's better if Prudence will introduce herself to our audience.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Prudence Stone, taku ingoa. I'm a Pākehā from the South Island of Aotearoa, ko Tuahiwi, Te Marae. I grew up in Rangiora, just 5 minutes out from Tuahiwi Marae. And now I'm a specialist in sociology. That's my expertise. That's what puts a doctor in front of my name. But I'm the chief executive for the Public Health Association.
That's great, Prudence. Thank you so much for your introduction. And yes, definitely our audience wants to know, what is Public Health Association, Prudence?
So it's a national membership association, and it has a commitment to health for all. So our vision is for health equity in Aotearoa, haora mō te katoa, oranga mō te ao. So what we try to do is provide opportunities for our members to be part of a collective voice on what causes good outcomes or how to prevent poor outcomes or inequity of health outcomes for New Zealanders through our advocacy during policy development. We gather and we share and we learn with each other through our branch and caucus meetings, our special interest groups, and our policy forum held annually every year at the time of our AGM. And we're basically trying to influence policy to improve the health of all New Zealanders, because a lot of poor health outcomes, well, actually, all inequity of health outcomes is preventable through better policy development at the time that policies are written. So our members are very active in democratic processes to sort of inform our decision makers to write and design policies with equity in mind, with Māori at the table, and with public health, good health outcomes in mind.
Yes, that's great, Prudence, and for clearing out to our audience about what is actually Public Health Association is. And also, in addition to this, Prudence, what is the actual role of PHA in national or in local level? Can you little bit, explain to our audience, please?
At the national level, it's about our national government decision making. So whenever legislation is put on the table, new law, for instance, just recently there was amendments to the Residential Tenancies Act. So the PHA contributes a submission, and we show up before the Social Services Select Committee and we present our submission in person so that we can have as much direct advocacy opportunity with our decision makers at that national level. Also, the government agencies might put out their own policies. Excuse me, that's my dog in the background barking at another dog on the balcony. But if government agencies are developing new position statements or having consultations on their positions and directives, we'll chime in and want to contribute to those consultations also. And for example, the cannabis law reform has been a draft legislation process that we've been involved in from quite a while ago. Last year, we attended workshops with Ministry of Justice officials to contribute to their thinking around the public health approach to the cannabis law reform. Then at the regional level, we have active branches, not enough active branches. We would like more active branches, but we've got an active branch in Auckland, Wellington, Canterbury, and the southern branches, Otago and Southland. And in those at that regional capacity, same again, it's about looking at the local government and what kind of positions and plans and policy statements they're developing at the government table. Our branches want to participate and be involved in those decision-making processes there as much as they can.
Thank you. Thank you so much for clarifying the role of PHA in national level or local level. It's PHA is really doing great. Personally, also I can say it. And yes, to our audience, you are here.
Wellington branch is a fantastic example of watching at the regional level, and then also regional branch members stepping up and contributing to national submission writing and position statements. It's a good example of how the regional and the national level work too.
Yes, Prudence, definitely, that's right. And here we go, audience. You are here in a program called Te Wā Whanau with Ramil. And if you have any gambling problem, please do not hesitate to contact us in 0800 530 000, or you can contact us through our Facebook page and as well as through our email. So today we have a guest, Dr. Prudence Stone, and I would like to welcome her again. And Prudence, welcome back again. And is the PHA still open during this lockdown time?
Yes, well, I mean, our national office is closed because that's, of course, in the middle of Wellington City, but all of us are still working from home. We consider advocacy during the COVID-19 pandemic and the government's response to it. We consider our role of advocacy quite an essential one because things are happening so rapidly and decisions are being made so rapidly. There needs to be an organisation of members that are watching, and our members are in the health sector, so they're in a uniquely privileged position to be able to watch what's going on and see if there's risks involved in the approach that we're taking.
Mm. Yes, definitely, Prudence. Thank you. So PHA is still open during this lockdown time, and yes, PHA is helping our community, our nationwide or local wise, in different aspect. And also, Prudence, what are the most public health issues in New Zealand in a brief way? Can you just give us some information to our audiences, please?
Well, I mean, there are so many issues for New Zealand we face right now. I guess in the COVID-19 context, they are amplified or possibly accelerated. For instance, one of our priority areas is looking at housing in New Zealand. The fact that so many of our homes in New Zealand are uninsulated, damp, quite drafty. The children living inside damp homes have poorer respiratory health, and a whole load of poor health outcomes come from the unhealthy state of the homes that people are living in. And then, of course, in a housing crisis like New Zealand is facing, there is a shortage of housing for people who need it. And so people are competing to live in these homes that are unhealthy for them. So that's a major concern which may be flying right now, particularly for renters in New Zealand, might be facing a drastic drop in their income from the lockdown and have to, or that they might be isolated and not be able in their social bubbles to meet with others anymore. So decisions might have been made in a COVID-19 response, household by household, to break bubbles or to form bubbles that are overcrowded, which only increases or amplifies the health conditions that New Zealanders might be living in those homes. That's just one of the sort of complexity of a public health issue. Of course, in our health and disability system, we've got unequal health outcomes just in the system itself. So we have to address in our own system policies the way we respond to different populations, rural versus urban populations. What's the inequity of our service and our delivery for different populations in New Zealand? That's just one example. It gets very political when you talk about the inequity between Maori health outcomes or Pacific health outcomes and non-Maori or non-Pacific. The inequities there can be quite stark, and addressing them starts with our own system, of our own health and disability system, as well as all those social determinants like housing or smoking or gambling, like this radio station is all about, Ramil.
Yes, yes, that's true. Prudence, and specifically, we have questions for our audience that are there any new public health concerns arose during this lockdown time, or
Any
maybe?
new? Yes, there are certainly new issues at this time. I've been speaking of us needing to be a watchdog for potential inequities in our response, but maybe age-old tension between health, making decisions with health, the public health's foremost, versus the economy. And so in COVID-19, we've had to lock down because our government has taken has prioritised the nation's health and saving lives. That's been the priority of this government. So we have this lockdown, but the lockdown has economic ramifications, which of course will play out inequitably amongst our population. So that tension is what we have to now support and inform our decision makers to navigate quite carefully. What are the inequities here that we can resolve through fiscal policy? And what are the health inequities that we can prevent here through better delivery of our health and disability system? That's what we're doing as a watchdog in that general sense. And then a very specific new issue has to do with where we're going to get our protective equipment from, where we're going to get our medicines from to cure COVID-19 or to vaccine and prevent COVID-19 from infecting us again in future. Those sorts of medicines and supplies are largely imported from foreign suppliers. And New Zealand's foreign trade laws hold great risk for our ability to get those supplies quickly in a pandemic such as COVID-19. So one issue for the Public Health Association we've raised with our Health Minister and Foreign Trade Minister is this issue of our TRIPS agreement, which is a multinational foreign trade agreement that holds us up from being to import low-cost medicines and vaccines in this time. We need to change those agreements so that New Zealand can, and that all nations can, equitably. New Zealand stands in a long line of bidders, and we might not be able to afford the COVID-19 vaccine before other nations with more money can, and that's a real risk for global inequity.
Yes, that's right, Prudence. And in the same question, I just want to ask one additional question. What is your view about online gambling? Can it be increased during this lockdown time?
Oh, actually, that's been studied. There's been sort of interesting study done by the Health Promotion Agency that has looked at whether there's been a change in behaviour when it comes to gambling. Also, I think they've looked at smoking and drinking as well, and it's quite interesting results. There have been some populations who have increased their online gambling. And there have been other patients who have said no, relatively the same, and then others who have decreased their online gambling during this time. So again, it's quite interesting how our populations separate themselves, and that's really interesting for public health policymakers, because we can see lockdown interventions, drastic interventions like lockdowns, have very different impacts on populations, and so how can we take that learning about policy and be proactive with it in the future to have better impacts on populations?
Yes, that's absolutely right, Prudence. And to our
I
audience,
encourage you to go to that study, and maybe talk to an expert who did that study at the Health Promotion Agency for this radio show, because they're very interesting findings. I'll share you the link.
yeah, that's great. Thank you so much, Prudence, and sharing the link. Definitely, I will go through it. To our audience, I want to repeat that you are here with Ramil for our program called Te Wa Whanau, Time for Family. So it consists of musical fun with some gambling information for half an hour. But during this lockdown time, we are back to you every Friday with some experts. So if you have any gambling problem, please do not hesitate to contact us through our 0800 530 number, or through our Facebook page, or through the email. So we are here with Dr. Prudence Stone, CEO of Public Health Association of New Zealand, and we'll continue our talk, and we will share our knowledge to our audience. And okay, Prudence, welcome back again. Uh, just another important question that it might be good to share with our audience. How Public Health Association supporting our communities in lockdown time?
Well, there's advocacy is our bread and butter. So the way that we can serve communities is to support their advocacy. If there is an issue with in a community, that if they're finding inequity of their health outcomes, or they're simply observing poor health outcomes in their community, that's an issue that the Public Health Association might be able to support them to advocate effectively to change. Alternatively, if there's a success story in the communities, we'd love to hear what's working in public health. And often, very often, it's community development. It's through community development that there are better health outcomes. And we want to tell those stories. We want to celebrate those stories. And often it's the PHA member inside that community who can share that story. And then other members of the Public Health Association in other regions might learn and be influenced, and be then an influencer inside their community to tell that story, and maybe do something similar in their own region. And that's how influence works, through good storytelling of what's really working inside communities. So in that respect, we can promote well-being and health promotion efforts that are doing good inside the communities. And then so it's about having a member in each community who can feed the Public Health Association's information network, so that all of us can be supported and informed by either those good advocacy works of communities, or the results, sharing results through our media outlets.
Thank you. That is really important to our audience. Thank you for sharing it, Prudence. And if our people from our community or from our region wants to share their story or show their public health concerns, and how can they approach to public health association if they need to?
Wow, they can call anyone from our comms and advocacy team. So there's me, I'm the chief executive. I hope I'm very approachable if you get me on the phone. There's also Libby Grant, our comms and advocacy advisor, and Leah Bain, our Maori policy advisor. And Leah, by the way, is from the Wairarapa, Ramil. So she would love to hear from your listeners about what the issues are in the Wairarapa region. Of course, if anyone is in community development or health promotion or working in the health sector in the Wairarapa, they should just go straight to our join page on the PHA website and become a member so that we've got more active members inside the region.
Yes, and Prudence, Public Health Association does have Facebook page also, right?
Yes, it does. PHANZ, I believe, at
Yes.
PHANZ. Or maybe that's our Twitter feed. Anyway, yeah, you can look us up. Look up the Public Health Association NZ, and you'll come to our Facebook page. But I believe our Twitter handle is at PHANZ if you're on Twitter.
Yes, yes. I have done little bit research about PHANZ Facebook page, and yes, definitely it's PHANZ. And if you just Google it, it comes very easily. So yes, there is a Facebook page from Public Health Association New Zealand itself, and you can contact Public Health Association team through there too. And there is the available of email address, I guess, in the Facebook page, so you can see it there too. And
If you just
yes,
say, and another way of staying informed, Ramil, is to subscribe to our Policy Spot, our newsletter, which comes usually every fortnight, although we've been a little bit waylaid over this COVID-19 period, so it's taking us a little bit longer each issue over the lockdown.
yes, that's true, Prudence. And yes, definitely. Anything at last you want to share with our audience from your side?
Yes, I would just like to congratulate the public that's listening. We're just so proud of how the public has been responding during this lockdown and showing a commitment to the public health approach by listening to the daily broadcasts by Ashley Bloomfield and our Prime Minister, who have been trying to support and inform the public to share this approach with the decision makers. I just want to congratulate us all for responding with such high trust and civility during this approach. And I just really encourage everybody listening to carry on with that and to carry on being kind to one another, carry on with the patience and the generosity of spirit that a lockdown takes. These are real values that our society needs going forward, and I think it's been a real wonderful wake-up call for us all. And I just want everybody to pat themselves on the back for doing so well for us to be able to get down to alert level 3 already, with the hope of getting down to alert level 2, maybe even next week. We'll see, but fingers crossed if we all just carry on with the good response we've been taking.
Yes, definitely. Stay safe, and then we need to carry on, be kind to each other. We need to carry on what we are doing. Yes, to eliminate this COVID-19 pandemic. And yes, we
Washing
have Dr. Prudence Easton. Yeah, wash your hand. Yeah. We have Dr. Prudence Easton today, and she is the CEO of Public Health Association of New Zealand. And really appreciate it for your half an hour, Prudence. And I'm aware that you are really busy during this time, but I would really like to thank you from our side for providing us this half an hour time during this busy schedule. And really appreciate it and thank you.
Thank you very much for having me, Ramil. And the half hour just flew by, didn't it?
Yes, it is very quick. So yes, definitely our audience got lots of knowledge about what is PHA, what is Public Health Association, and what they are doing from our Dr. Prudence Stone. And thank you so much, audience. I'll be back on another Friday with one of our experts. And if you have any gambling problem during this time, please do not hesitate to contact us through our 0800 number or through our Facebook page or through our email. Till that time, stay safe, be kind to each other, and then mm, have a good time and have a good weekend. Thank you and thank you, Prudence. Bye.